In this lesson, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the time lapse of me finishing the male head. So in the interest of time, I felt it was better to just show you guys a little bit of the rest of the process. I did a couple of tweaks off screen, nothing major really, and basically this is the most important part, I guess, to show so as to not skip it. And is me just basically fixing the eyes and adding small details to the face that would otherwise make it look really bland and not realistic. So what I'm doing here is redoing the eyelids using the clay brush, the trim dynamic brush, and the Damien standard. So what I do is I add some clay and then I trim it, as you can see right there. And once I've done that, I can pull out the eyelids with the Dam standard, as you just saw. Now, this makes it look a lot more realistic and a lot cleaner, and that's what I was looking for. The whole model still needs a lot of work, and for our purposes, it could work, but I want you guys to see the whole process if possible, so I don't like skipping anything. In this case here, I'm just working on the eyes and seeing if I'm going to keep that overlap. And for now, it seems like it's okay, so that's what I'm going to do. It's time to actually tweak the shape of the nose, which is really not pleasing me right now. I haven't found a good shape for it, so I'm just going to play around a little bit with it. As you can see, I changed a little bit of the proportions of the chin. I made it a little bit smaller, as I said I would. I just did it off screen, but it still looks very masculine, and that's the important part. You want to be careful not to have very big lips in this case, because and you don't even want a small nose either, because that will make your model look very feminine. So what I'm doing here now is I'm increasing the size of the nostrils and just the overall shape of the nose to give me a more interesting and balanced look. I really like how he looks from the side, but from the front it's not quite there. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tweaking it. And since, again, I always say this in my ZBrush courses, there's no stroke-by-stroke way for you to follow along. Eventually our models are going to be different no matter what we do to help you out in that regard. At least you can see how I go about finishing it to get to a really decent detail state, really. So I move up the lips, I tweak the shape of the face again, just cleaning up that mandible. And now I'm moving the lips up. I'm making the upper lip bigger. I saw a video today on the internet, and I just saw this guy with this relatively large upper lip and small lower lip, and I just felt like reproducing that. So pushing back the forehead there, just looking for that strong structure. And you can see it's starting to come together. A little bit more detail in the nasolabial fold there. Just extra, continues to make it better. And cutting it in really nicely. Adding some more volume. And then I want the skin to sort of attach to the nose properly without giving me too much of noise on the side of the face. I added the philtrum there really quickly underneath the nose. And right now it's starting to look a lot better. As you can see, the same basic structure applies. I wanted to get this video, this is about 40 minutes of sculpting compressed down. So just so you guys know, I spent about, I guess, 2 hours on the head, something like that, which is, okay amount of time to get a decent looking head. But the next videos we're going to have a few more are going to be completely real time, and it'll be me tweaking the face to transform it into a female one. And I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it, because you'll see how quick it is with a couple of changes. And there's a few tips and tricks in those videos that you don't want to miss. So stay tuned for those. In any case, you can see that my tools are still the same. They're just a clay brush and the Damien standard brush, just to get my details in. And we're definitely getting there. It's looking really nice now. Cleaning up those ears. The nose is starting to look a lot better. What I do on the nose is I do a little bit of trim dynamic on the underneath area to create those planes that you saw. So that's a cool trick for you guys to learn. And now still sort of tweaking the shape, seeing if I like it. It's getting close to the final nose. It's not quite there yet. But now you can definitely see where it's going. We've applied all those techniques that we know on the male face. As you can see, a little bit of trim dynamic on the underneath of the nose makes a big difference. And now I'm just wondering what's the next step. So I think my lips aren't looking too good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth out the underneath of the lips here. I'm going to make sure I have a nice plane on the upper lip, which I do. It looks really nice. But the bottom lip doesn't look that good. So what I need to do is I need to go from the side view and basically pull it up so it has just as good of a plane as the front lip. And that was quick to do. And I just pulled it out, and there you go. Just look at how much I move around the model. If you were sculpting in real clay, this is you walking around or, turning that table that sculptors generally use. It's really important to go on all possible angles of your model and just keep looking for things to fix. I can't stress that enough. After that, I'm going to reshape the eyes. As you can see, they're not necessarily following the orb of the eye, and that's an important thing to fix. Once that's done, I decide to try my hand at some wrinkles. I don't really like the result, but it allows me to cut in the bottom of the lids. That makes it look a lot better. These little cuts that I added to the side of the eye didn't really please me, so I ended up going in and redoing them. I have a little bit of trouble here with this area of the eyes. My hands just weren't obeying me. But after a couple tries, I get it, and that's basically what I wanted there. I'm just redoing the shape here of the eyes, making sure it looks nice, smoothing it down if necessary. And you can see that it does take a little bit of work, but once you get the actual shape that you're looking for, those planes, you can really get somewhere. If you have trouble with specific parts of the face, Digital Tutorials has plenty of tutorials specifying things like how to sculpt eyes, noses, and ears, mouths, things like that. So you should really take a look at those if you're having trouble with the face, because it's better to tackle them individually if you're just starting out. Now I'm redoing the ear here. It just wasn't looking good, so I'm digging in the ear hole, adding in all the extra pieces. I'm gonna end up here just smoothing it out and then pulling out a couple of pieces. Sculpting the navicular fossa right there. And then continuing to just try to add some more detail, making the anti-helix a little bit thinner. And now the helix itself with a little bit better of a shape. Ears are a very personal thing. You have to really get a good look at them to see if you like them or not. I generally think that ears are very important to the characters, so really good ears stand out. So keep that in mind. And always use reference when doing this kind of stuff because it will help you out. That being said, as you can see, it wasn't a whole bunch of work, and I think it went by pretty fast. That being said, about 30-40 minutes of work. It was pretty quick, but it got us to a decent point. In the next lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how the model looks, and then I'm going to go ahead and make it into a girl.